Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and most importantly, to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. So today belongs to Egbe and Okun, and accordingly, we performed our Ose rituals bright and early, and in the process, we're given a couple of very insightful lessons that I want to share with you with the hopes that these lessons will have a really long term impact on your practice and your understanding of how to enhance the practice, not only for yourself, but for future generations. This is a lesson that I am certain is going to benefit you for at least 20 more years. You're going to come back to this lesson in one way or another again and again and again and again, because it's all about the dynamics of growth and expansion. It's the inevitable reality of growth and expansion, which is based upon this simple understanding that your blessings become your burdens. Okay, your blessings become your burdens. To exemplify this, what I mean is that imagine you're at the beginning of your life, or of your adult life. You're young and you're just trying to get on your feet. All right. 100% of your time, 100% of your energy, 100% of your focus is dedicated to getting a job. For example, you're living on someone's couch, or you're living in somebody else's house, and it's just not working for you anymore. You've outgrown it. So it's pretty clear what you need to do. You give everything you got to finding a job. You find a job, and now it's pretty obvious the next thing you need to do is you need a car. So you're putting all your time and your energy into your job and getting a car. If you're successful at that level, then you're going to expand a bit more and you're going to get your own place. So now your time, your energy, and your focus have gone from being focused on just getting the job, your transportation, and your housing. Okay, so let's say you're successful at that, and now you pick up a spouse, you get a girlfriend, or you get married. Now your time hasn't changed. You still only get 24 hours. Your energy hasn't changed. You don't have more energy. You can't manufacture more energy, and you can't create more hours in a day. So you're still putting the same amount, dividing the same amount of time, energy, and focus between your job, your car, your house, and your girlfriend or your wife. And then you have a baby. So now this you're having to divide your time, energy, and focus between your job, your car, your house, your girl, your baby. And it just continues and continues and continues. The more successful you are, the greater your burden becomes. You've got to be able to manage all of these variables. These are the natural consequences of success and accomplishment and progress. Okay? So it requires organization. You're not going to be able to sustain or enhance all of your blessings if you refuse to organize. It is impossible to do. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. Anyone who tells you that you don't have to get organized, you don't have to organize your time, you don't have to organize your money, you don't have to organize your thoughts, these people are deceiving you. Okay? The same is true developmentally of us as a community. The same is true as our practice evolves and grows, and it expands, and it reaches out to more and more people from more and more different backgrounds with different kinds of problems. We've got to organize. We cannot pretend that this is the simple thing that we were doing 100 years ago. It isn't the same. Of course, the principles and the practices remain the same, but the dynamics are entirely different. And so we have to organize. And part of this is driving home and understanding for the mature minded people who insist upon, for example, this idea of spirituality. This is not a religion. This is, I'm spiritual and this is a spirituality. And though people who are insisting upon that, those are people who are going to remain in a child state. Those are the people who are going to remain dependent. And they're going to be dependent upon the people who are willing to organize. The one who's most organized takes on the most responsibility. Okay? And the danger, the hazard that you're not taking account of is the fact that somebody is going to be organized. Now, you don't want your enemy to infiltrate your practice, be more organized, and then relegate you to a position of outsider or inferior status or worse. We need to think, we need to grow up. So for some people who want to remain in a child state, then we have to let them remain in a child state. But for the people who hear what I'm saying and understand the reality of what I'm describing, because I'm describing a reality. I'm not telling you a hypothetical. I'm telling you what's happening. I'm telling you what is real today, right now. You're being out organized in your own house again. And you insist, some of you insist that it's anything goes. We can figure it out whenever we feel like it. We can continue with all these petty concerns as long as we want. There's no sense of urgency around us getting organized and managing our blessing. We don't have to do that. But in the old days, they would say we're just fattening frogs for snakes. We're fattening frogs for snakes. The more we insist on growing and growing and growing the community, and just initiating and just expanding and expanding, but refusing to organize, to establish common ground and affirm shared goals, the more we're setting ourselves up to just be consumed by someone else or a group of someone else's who are just more predatory and more willing to organize themselves. Timestamp this video and do a panoramic view. Come back to this video next month. Put it into your calendar a month from now, 6 months from now. Put this video as a recurring, set a calendar event and put this video in that calendar event and make it recur every 6 months and do a panoramic view of everything that you see in the Orisha community. And you tell me, eventually you're going to figure out where I'm trying to bring you into alignment. Your blessings become your burdens, but our problem is that we're increasingly losing the ability to manage those burdens. Okay. Now, part of this is not just, excuse me, our problem within the Orisha community. It's a generational thing as well. I'm going to refer back to my time when I was a corporate guy. And I'll never forget, I went to go do a consultation in, it was Frito-Lay is where I was doing a consultation. And I went to a plant and I was working with one of the upper level managers. And he was telling me how he was ready to retire, but he couldn't retire because they couldn't find somebody who was willing to do his job. They had hired someone and let him go. They hired someone and let him go. They hired someone and let him go. And I said, well, what's the problem? He said, well, the people who are coming in aren't willing to do the work that I do. So now we've had to divide my job into 3. A lot of times people think that they're dividing these jobs up to, for nefarious reasons. But in this instance, he was identifying for me that there's no other way for us to do it because there's not another one individual who's willing to do all the jobs. So we got to divide it into three. And so now I'm training up and grooming three people to take up what I used to do as an individual and have them work in a cohesive manner. Okay. What's happening is that, excuse me, we are being conditioned to expect more for less. We are being conditioned to expect that we're going to be able to get more for just showing up. And, I attribute it to this kind of participation trophy syndrome, if you want to call it that, where everybody just gets a prize for being there. Everyone gets a certificate for just being there. Everyone gets a trophy. You came and you played, and so you get a trophy. But it sends home the wrong set of ideas. You don't understand that your blessing is a burden. You have to understand that. It has to be not intellectually understood. It's got to be ingrained into you. That as you grow and as you expand and as you succeed, you've got to be anticipating greater obligations, greater responsibilities. And you got to welcome it. And you got to be looking for more and more and more insights into how to do it better. Right? That is how it's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be getting hungrier for more responsibility and a higher understanding of how to manage that responsibility. But the opposite is actually happening right now. People want more for less. People want more for less. And that is what is causing us to see our tradition grow and expand, but not want to take any ownership for how to, take care of it. Okay? It's totally contradictory. And again, it's setting us up to be consumed and taken over by someone else who's willing to organize, someone else who's willing to take on that obligation. Okay. And so I'm sending this lesson out to the leaders. I'm looking for people who understand what I'm saying. You've seen it. You've seen it in your life. You've seen it in your community. You've seen it in your family. Perhaps you're seeing it unfold within the ranks of the Orisha community, and you're relieved by what I'm saying, or you know it so well that it makes you a little bit anxious. Whatever the case may be, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the leaders. We've got to take ownership and responsibility for improving the world through positive influence. Organization is positive. Organization is progressive. If you're someone who really understands that and you're ready to get involved with concerted efforts to make that our reality, I want you to find out how Oloye Obafemi Origunwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life and our tradition to the highest level possible. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's start working to help bring about the good condition for ourselves and those who we're destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.